Hi, everybody, and welcome to Different Leaf, a show for new and experienced cannabis consumers. I'm Brit Smith. This episode, we're going to talk about the glorious world of food and learn how we can incorporate cannabis compounds like THC and CBD into our daily diets. Today's guest is award-winning Executive Chef Matt Stockard. Chef Matt studied culinary arts internationally and opened his first restaurant in Oklahoma in 1998. He's also run several five-star institutions for the Hyatt Regency, including Japanese, Italian, and even its Vegas-style buffets. Most recently, Chef Matt has been creating marijuana-infused meals for some of the best-known cannabis-loving celebrities like Snoop Dogg and Julian Marley. He's also developed a line of incredible pot-infused products like cooking oils and barbecue sauces, and he teaches cooking classes online so you can learn how to incorporate them into your cooking repertoire. All right. Thank you so much for joining me, Chef. It's really nice to meet you.
Thanks for having me. Same here.
Yeah. So you're in Long Beach, California. Is that right?
Correct.
Is that where you're from?
Yeah.
I used to live out west. One of my favorite places to go for food was Long Beach. I think it's got some of the best restaurants around the LA area.
I agree.
One of my favorite was Lucille's, but I think that they may have closed in the pandemic. Have you seen a lot change over the pandemic?
Yeah, a lot of restaurants didn't really survive, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, absolutely. So I want to start with a bit about you and your background. Where did you first learn to cook? What was your first experience with food?
You know, from as long as I can remember, I've always wanted to be a chef. Just, at an early age, I think, my parents said it had a lot to do with books, them buying books, and my sisters will pick up different kind of books, and I picked up a cookbook and just start reading cookbooks at an early age. And even to this day, I could read a recipe and taste it just by reading it, or tell if it's a good recipe or not, just by looking at it.
Yeah. You eat with your eyes first, right?
Right.
So when did you start formal education in food?
Probably about 19 in college. I opened up, just a burger stand. And then, we would do like Monday night would be like meatloaf. Tuesday night would be like pot roast. Small college town, and we all missed our parents cooking. So during the day we had burgers, and weeknights all tried to emulate our parents cooking.
That's kind of nice. What was your favorite thing to cook?
Probably around that time was like a good pot roast, because it was so hearty and
That's what you want when you're in college, is sort of stuff that tastes like it's from home. I'm nowhere near home right now, and all I want is like fish and chips and shepherd's pie and super, super English things right now.
I love shepherd's pie. It's one of my favorite dishes.
But do you know what? Most people here are like, oh, you can make it with whatever ground beef. No, it's lamb. It's lamb. It's got to be lamb. People do it wrong. I'm sorry, your Impossible meat does not cut it. I'm a big food fan, and I do not want to give up flavor like lamb.
Yeah, no, that lamb bolognese, or that lamb at the bottom, when that, mashed potato soaks it in, it just does something to it.
I know I should have eaten lunch before we spoke. Oh, man. So how did you start to incorporate CBD and a little bit of THC into your cooking?
I think it started back in like 1994 when we were having a pool party, and I threw a little cannabis in the barbecue sauce, and nobody thought it was going to work. And 2 hours later, everybody sleep. Come Monday, it was a talk of the town and talk of school. And then I think it was probably like 2014 when I came back from overseas. I had like a 30 days off, and I was supposed to go to Dubai. One of my high school buddies was like, man, Matt, remember you used to cook with cannabis? He was like, I think it's going to be big. And I was like, man, I'm out seeing the world, running multi-million-dollar restaurants. What do I want to stay here and cook with cannabis for? He brought me 2 trash bags full of cannabis, and I never left.
Wow. You gave up Dubai to follow cannabis?
Yeah, man, it wasn't part of the plan, man. But, it kind of worked out for the best.
It never is. Cannabis sort of sneaks into your life, I think, and I feel like a lot of people just learn to incorporate it into stuff they already love.
Yeah, no, most definitely. It's a lifestyle if you do it right.
So what was it like for the first time you tried to really cook with cannabis, and like not just sort of throwing it in a barbecue sauce sort of way, but a bit more intentionally? What did you make?
I think one of the first things I started making was a vegetable oil. I would just take vegetable oil and throw cannabis in there and steep it, figuring out what temperatures to heat it to and what temperatures to hold it at, and agitate it, and then, strain it, send it off to get tested, and just trying to create a scale to know what realm I was going to be in. Say if I put a gallon of vegetable oil to an ounce of premium cannabis, if I know what percentage the cannabis is, that'll give me a roundabout area what the milligrams going to be, and then send it off to get tested to make sure you're in that realm. But yeah, I'll say it was vegetable oil, olive oil, got into doing vinegars. I was pickling like jalapeno peppers, pickles, for just going crazy.
You getting high off jalapeno peppers and pickles?
Yeah.
That's just like a one bite and done thing, right?
Not necessarily, because it's about dosing. So, we always try to dose things like you would usually generally eat one jalapeno pepper. So trying to put 10 milligrams and one jalapeno pepper. And then with the sliced ones for nachos, you're not going to eat just one. So, you try to have it the normal amount of what people would eat.
So you're just really trying to infuse cannabis into everything that you already enjoy. Because when you do oil, like you can cook anything, right?
Yeah, well, there's different ways to do it. There's ways to get water soluble cannabis and oil based cannabis. So like we're launching this week at Hall of Flowers. We're launching a ketchup, a hot sauce, and a coffee creamer. We already have olive oils and vegan ghees, and we got sugar and stevia. So we're just trying to just change the edible game and help people realize that it's more than just Rice Krispie treats and brownies.
Yeah, it really is. Wow. So let's talk a bit about the food culture in the US. I am from England, so obviously I've got a lot of European influence in the kind of cooking that I like to do. And when I came over here, my first stop was Texas. So everything that I ate was,
Barbecue, smoke.
yeah, barbecue food. And I love barbecue food. And they had me do some crawfish boils, which was kind of creepy because you have to pull the head and then suck its brains out. It was a different world of food for me when I came to America. Do you think that the future of sort of American cuisine could be cannabis-infused food in general?
Yes and no. I think there's always going to be a group of people that's going to like it, not. So, like, one thing we're trying not to do is force it down anybody's throat. If you look at it from a medical point of view, there are people that need cannabis but don't want to smoke it, especially elderly and, younger kids and, people using the RSOs, the Rick Simpson oils and stuff like that. I just always feel that incorporating it into your diet was a more healthy and discreet way to use it.
Definitely an easier access kind of thing.
It also affects you differently eating it versus smoking it. It comes down to dosing and knowing what your body can handle and responsible dosing. And, everybody has a horrible edible story.
Oh, yeah. Everybody does.
Oh, I ate a brownie. Yeah. And it's like because somebody said it was this amount in it, but really had no idea how much cannabis was in it.
Yeah, dosing is one of the hardest things, right? So there is now some scientific way to do it. I've been reading up on how to infuse oil and butter, and it really depends on like the percentage THC flour and then the amount of butter you're using. How do you go about doing this by yourself?
Well, the one thing I never try to do is I never try to teach people how to make the oils and the butters and stuff because it just, if you're not getting the cannabis from a good source or dispensary and it hasn't been lab tested, you can really pull out a lot of pesticides and, a lot of stuff, cannabis. So, I usually tell people like the safest way is for you just to go buy it from the dispensary. I am working with a company that we're trying to make a strain of cannabis that just for people at home to use. So we'll be able to say, hey, we've done this 20 times. We took this cannabis and infused it with 1 pound of butter. And this was a result we got 10 times in a row versus just going buying anything or get some from a friend or growing it yourself and doing it. It's just really hard to tell how much cannabis you've really extracted out of it.
It's a much more reliable way to just buy the pre-made stuff. So what is your favorite cuisine to infuse cannabis with?
I get asked that a lot, but as a chef, man, I just love cooking and cuisine doesn't matter to me. I'm one of those guys that's like well versed in a little bit of everything coming from the hotel industry. I didn't have the luxury of just being good at American food or, I had to learn French. I had to learn Italian. I had to learn sushi. I had to learn it all. So I just love cooking. It doesn't even really matter what it is to me.
No, you don't have anything that's like a favorite that you really love to create?
I just love cooking, man. It's like asking somebody that loves singing, their one particular song. Sometimes it's just singing, period, if you know what I mean.
Oh, yeah. I never thought about it like that. I always liked things that I guess I'm good at because I've never been like a super crazy cook. When I first moved to the US, I was living a lot on ramen noodles and, easy microwavable foods. And it's really only been during the pandemic that I've gotten into really cooking for other people and enjoying being in the kitchen. So why do you think people should start adding CBD to their food? What are the benefits of it?
Well, CBD has all the medical benefits of cannabis just without the high. So for the people that don't want the high, but still want to be able to get the benefit of cannabis, that's where CBD would come in.
And what was your first experience with CBD and food?
An older lady came to me and she says, "Well, do you have anything with CBD? I don't like to get high." And I was like, "What is CBD? Like, what is this?" And she was like telling me about it like it's the next and greatest thing. So I went home and for the next couple of days, I just crammed, got on the internet and found out as much as I could find out about it. And, once I did, I started coming with products with CBD in it for people that didn't want to get high. Like my mom, she doesn't really care to get high, but, she's an older lady and hot and cold flashes, trouble sleeping. So, she's been using CBD probably for about the last 4 years on a daily basis, whether it's in her coffee creamer or she just takes a tincture underneath her tongue or whatever, So just try to get people using it.
And do you use it every day? Do you add it to everything that you eat and drink?
Not everything, but usually for breakfast, I'll use like my vegan, like this morning I had, chorizo and eggs and sourdough toast. I'll put some of the vegan butter on my toast and I'll put a little in the eggs. But I know my dosing, so it's like I feel real good and I feel real calm and like very relaxed. I feel really zen.
What is your dose? How many milligrams do you try and take with each meal?
I'm usually anywhere between 15 and 20 milligrams.
And that's a CBD?
That's THC.
THC. Oh, man. Oh, and that's in the mornings? Damn.
Yeah, and that's in the morning. But again, too, that's flour. That's not distillate. I try to explain to people 15 milligrams of a product that has distillate in it is going to affect you differently than a product that has 15 milligrams of flour in it. It's just two different highs.
There's so much science and math involved in this. Do you know what? I think you're right. It may just be easier to just like trust the experts who have made the oils.
Well, look at it like this. Say if you take a shot glass of 151 and then you take a shot glass of beer and then you take a shot glass of wine, they're all equally the same amount. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, the same volume.
Same volume, but once you take it, it's going to have different effects. So I say that saying distillate is 151 and then the flour products are, more like the wine. And then you have the live rosin and other stuff. So I think people, they need to do a better job of saying, hey, this is 15 milligrams of distillate. Hey, this is 15 milligrams of live rosin. Hey, this is 15 milligrams made with real flour. So people can pick and decide which ones work for them, because I figure a cancer patient needs the distillate, needs that extra high or, something. So I just think, it's we're all learning this together and nobody has all the answers. It's a new industry that's budding. So we just want to take us some time to figure it out all together.
Yeah, that's it. We're all sort of trial and erroring our way through the edible industry, I guess.
Most definitely.
So let's talk about the future of cannabis-infused foods. So your background is in restaurants, in hotels across the world, all different kinds of cuisines. How do you see CBD and THC-infused food fitting into the world of culinary?
I think it's going to be normalized really soon. It's not going to be as trendy as it is today. I think I read an article on somebody's like cooking with cannabis is a trend, and I was like, it's not a trend. It's been around since the beginning of time. The Indians, Hispanic cultures have always been using it, so it's been around forever. Again, I think that once people realize it's not just the young people that are trying to get stoned or stoners, once it's normalized to where people with PSD, anxiety, and all that stuff, people that go to work and just are frazzled, once they realize they can take cannabis and lose some of those feelings that they're having throughout the day, to be more normalized. And my job and other chefs like me is we're just trying to find more creative ways for the people to be able to use it, if you know what I mean.
I feel like it's going to be in a lot of different areas of food, from food trucks and street